Hi, today's July 16th. We're in Los Padres National Forest at La Panza Campground. This morning we walked down here, down our arroyo, which is the dry creek bed, riparian area around it. We have mostly oak trees, like coast live oak, Quercus agrifolia, variety called a Burberrydifolia, or Burberry oak, and Quercus dumosa, which is a scrub oak. Anyway, we also found some arroyo willow and a lot of Coulter pines. But today we're going to walk to the top of the campsite. There's a trailhead, goes out back. We're going to find a lot of Chabisse plants and Anastoma fasciculatum. Hey, so here's the top of the campground. Right up here, turns around. 15 spots. So I guess this is spot 15. We're gonna head up this trail here, see if there's anything different than the trail down below. It looks like we have a whole bunch of greasewood, Chabisse shrub, little oak trees. We have our wild grass, more oaks. And we're kind of tired, so I don't think we'll go too far. Because it's like 90 degrees out. You know? This is a terrific plant, our Chabisse. And Anastoma fasciculatum. It's got these little fascicles, or little bundles, leaves growing up the stem. And these are gray. There's another variety called a red shank. And they're red. And they're up here, but they're not as easy to spot. This guy just loves it when there's a fire. That's how he propagates. And everybody else burns. He sends out little shoots, or from his burrow. And he spreads up the hillside. Okay. All right, here we have a little purple flower. All right. See that little purple white flower, kind of all alone on this stem right here. So he's cute. California buckwheat, Varieganum fasciculatum. Just like our Chabisse, he's got fascicles of leaves growing up his stems. Or clusters, that's why they call him a fasciculatum, California buckwheat. This is really shrubby. This guy here is another one of our Coulter pines, Pinus coulteri. He's got these pine cones up here. They're absolutely huge. Of course, he's called a widowmaker because of pine trunks. They'll fall on your head, make your wife a widow, like a coconut. Out in Hawaii, here we have another Coulter pine. He lives a lot out here. Here we have another one of our oaks. Some more oak. Out here on the hill, that little fluttery light green guy, he's one of our aspens. He's a poplar. Like a cottonwood, and he'll kind of wave around in the breeze like a willow. Make a little light green, dark green, light green, dark green. Little pretty waving pattern out there. Here we have a toyon, a little Christmas berry tree, Christmas holly. It's got these little elongated, serrated leaves here. He's a misnomer. So the Europeans, they found this guy out here, mostly by Los Angeles, Hollywood Hills, and they said, because his berries come out in November, December, oh, it's Christmas holly, because it looks like the holly from Europe. But he's not related. So anyway, Guys up in Los Angeles, they love this plant so much they cut it down for Christmas time. Here are the flowers. This is July, so we won't get berries till a couple months. Anyway, they loved it so much they called their town Hollywood after this toy on here. How about that? Okay, so here we have this stringy stuff kind of growing on our little willow. This here, it's a parasite. He's called Canyon Dodder. So he doesn't even grow out of the ground. He doesn't have any roots. What he does is he'll just impale into the stem of his host, and he sucks it dry of all of its nutrients. He's got no chlorophyll, and I don't even think he's qualified to be called a plant. He's just a stringy guy. There he is, look at that. Some canyons just get covered with this stuff. So we don't have too much. And luckily, he'll kill his host and just die himself. But a lot of times it spreads out. This is called Canyon Dodder. This guy here is our big berry Manzanita. Manzanita means apple, right? Arctostaphylos glauca. Glauca because his little leaves here, really gray glauca color. He's hairless. Okay, like the Eastwood Manzanita's got hairs all over him. He's got these beautiful, beautiful bark. It's really smooth. Wow. And it flakes every year. Every year it just flakes off. Gets a little green. And then he turns brown again. So we have a little nest right here. Who's nesting in our Manzanita? Wow. All right, so here's another Manzanita. And if you look at the base here, he goes directly in the ground without really much of a burrow. That way you know he's a glauca species instead of the Eastwoods. So the Spaniards, right, when they're up here exploring in 1790s, I mentioned they called these places Chamizo from the Chabisse, Chamizo Grande for the creosote bush, and they also had another chaparral called Manzanita, because they had no idea what to call these places. And where we are now, this is Los Padres National Forest, and it's named after the missionaries from Spain that were coming up from Mexico, exploring this area, because they were called Padres. That's why this place is called Los Padres. And here we have poison oak. Poison oak is not an oak. It's related to the sumacs and the cashews, like our laurel sumac or lemonade berry. All right, those plants. Here's another beautiful, beautiful Manzanita up here. He's a little guy. He's still a glauca. I gotta find an Eastwood up here somewhere. See that? Beautiful. So here's our really soft little sage here. Call him a bunny ear. So soft, cute. There's flowers up here. Trail's really narrow. And here we got another Manzanita right here. Okay, that's a good shrub. Here's the problem. You get all these little grass seeds, spines stuck in your socks when you kind of walk out here in this grass. Here we got another one of Our Lord's Candle agaves or yuccas. I just use those two interchangeably, agave and yucca. So here's a good one. This guy here, he bloomed. shot up this big long stalk. He flowered. And he's seeded. This whole stalk will just fall to the ground, like this one here. And then the plant will die, because he's kind of a suicidal plant. When he's ready to bloom, he just blooms and he dies. It's called Our Lord's Candle. He's like a candle going up to the Lord, up to the heavens. All this whole area, look at all this Chabisse. And the old Spaniards called it a chamiso. And they called this whole area a chamizal. This whole chaparral was called a chamizal. There's another chaparral called a chamizal grande, which refers to the creosote bush chaparral you find out in Sonora and Mojave deserts, like Yuma, all the way to Salton Sea, Joshua Tree National Park up there. It's a great medicinal plant too. Native Americans used it a lot for all sorts of cures. This guy burned down here, see that? So he burned. He loves it when he burns, and he sends little offshoots and he'll grow new plants. Because the seeds, they're rather sterile. He doesn't really propagate by seeds. It's a really tall oak. The leaves here, this guy, so they're serrated. See that? And they're really crunchy, waxy. They kind of bend like this. This has helped reduce the evaporation. So if they're bent like this, the rays from the sun, they kind of ricochet off. They're flat, it absorbs everything. They're bent, it doesn't. So it helps preserve water. Look at this beautiful guy. Another one of our Manzanita. That beautiful, beautiful red bark down here. Just look at that. Holy smokes.
All one of them.
This whole row. Look at this here, here. We got more over here. Oh, over here, look at that. So I'm not sure this trail is as much for humans as it is for animals that might come back and forth here. I mean, take a look at this here. Little trail here going up. So I'm sure there's a mountain lion up here just watching me. I'm not sure how much further we're going to go, but so this little dead guy here, all right, we just call him a caterpillar plant because these little leaves or seeds on the end here look like little caterpillars. You find these out on the coast, okay, by like Islay Creek. Anyway, it's kind of long and treacherous out here, so we're gonna stop here. If you want to see a lot more of these plants, take a look at my other video where we went on the trail down below the campground along the arroyo. I've got all these plants and I talk about them. And this guy here, these are huge. Wow. Who doesn't want a Manzanita? All right. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.